You read the title, so let's get straight to business. Mac utility number one that I cannot live without is called AltTab. And this is actually true. I probably use this utility hundreds of times per day, whether at work or outside of work. So let me just show you what this does first so you can see it, and then I'll explain to you why you need it and why I think it's awesome. So I've installed AltTab now on my Mac, and now if I press on AltTab on my keyboard, I get this. And this is a preview of all of the windows that are open on my Mac right now. And why do you need this? Well, because if you've ever used the built-in macOS app switcher, so if you press on Command and then Tab and you tab around, you will notice that it doesn't really behave the way it works in Windows. So this is especially true if you come from a Windows computer. And it's not just that. I think it's actually worse. The reason being, the Mac app switcher switches between your open apps. It doesn't switch between your open windows. And I think that is a slightly, let's say, maybe inferior way of doing things, in my personal opinion. Of course, your opinion might differ. But once you go and install AltTab, which is completely free, it's open source, now you can actually use AltTab on the Mac, and it will show you all of your available windows. And it's actually incredibly good. In my opinion, it's a lot better than even AltTab on Windows itself, because not only can you go around and close the different windows here by clicking on the button, which you can do on Windows too, you can quit the entire app, you can minimize it, you can maximize it, and the looks of AltTab are completely customizable. So if I open the AltTab settings here, you can see just that there's a wide variety of settings for you to customize the app however you want. So for example, if you don't like the window thumbnails that appear like this, you can change it to app icons so it will look similar to the stock macOS experience. Or you can have a list of titles. So if you happen to have windows with long titles, this will really be good for you. So it is extremely customizable, and it's free. It just makes your Mac better. I think it's a one-on-one replacement. You install it and you completely forget that the original Command tab ever existed. The second app I want to talk about today is a classic. It's called Alfred. What is Alfred? So Alfred substitutes your Spotlight window on the Mac. So if you're using a Mac, which you should if you're watching this video, if you press Command Space, you know that something like this will pop up, which is a Spotlight window where you can search on Google and things of that sort. Now, that's all well and good. Spotlight really got a lot better throughout the years, so it works well. For many people, there's no reason to change. But for power users, let's say, or for people who want something a bit better, Alfred is there to replace that. So I set up Alfred on my Mac so that whenever I press Command Space, this opens up and this is Alfred. Why is Alfred better than Spotlight? Because you can do something like this. For example, let's say I want to search Wikipedia for a certain article. On Alfred, all I have to do is type wiki space and then article, press enter, and it will search for that article on Wikipedia and open it up on my browser. It is incredibly useful. Let me actually show you a graph here. So these are my Alfred preferences. If I go to usage, you'll see that in the past two years, I've used Alfred at least 17 times per day. So I think it's really useful. You can search on Google, of course. So you can just, Google something and you will search for Google for something. You can open any app. So I've just talked about AltTab, so you can open AltTab from there. And yeah, it's just a really good alternative to the built-in Spotlight. Now, this is really only the tip of the iceberg when it comes to Alfred, because Alfred is a deep app. It's an app that's been around for a very long time, and it's really powerful. So it's not just about searching Wikipedia. It's not just about searching Google. It gets a lot deeper than that. You can actually, for example, run custom workflows on Alfred, where if you have a file in your clipboard, you can type some stuff on Alfred and it can zip it up. For example, it can upload it to a service of your choice. Alfred has its own programming language for creating scripts that you can run from Alfred. So the beauty of Alfred is that it's been around for a long time, so it's very solid, it's very fast. Why do I say that? Because I know that there are some Alfred alternatives. For example, Raycast. So Raycast is one of those popular Alfred alternatives. But the thing is, to be completely honest with you, I have tried Raycast for a couple of days, a couple of weeks. I always end up going back to Alfred. I'm sorry. I'm sure Raycast is a very fine piece of software, but the speed and the customizability that I get on Alfred is just unmatched, in my opinion. At least maybe my muscle memory is just so used to Alfred. That's why I go back to it. So you can also check out Raycast. I think it's quite good. So Alfred is my personal favorite. Raycast, a very close competitor and the favorite for a lot of people. So do go and check those two apps out. I think these are extremely useful utilities to have in your Mac, both Alfred and or Raycast. Like I said, I use Alfred like 10 or 20 times per day on average every day for the past few years. So it's really useful. Now, this third utility is maybe a bit lesser known than the other ones like Alfred and AltTab. But in my personal life and in my work and in my career, I use this app every single day on my Mac to take better screenshots. So this is called Shottr. So shottr.cc is the website, and you can download it from here. This is a screenshot utility for the Mac. Now you might be saying, look, the Mac already has pretty good screenshot utilities. And I will agree with you, the Mac screenshot utility is pretty good, but Shottr is better. And I will show you why. So I set up Shottr on my machine such that when I press Command-Shift-2, my cursor will turn into a screenshot cursor, let's say. So I can take a screenshot right now of this website, for example, and the Shottr window will open up. So this is the Shottr window. And the reason why I like it is that it's so fast. It's so ingrained into my muscle memory now. And me, I'm actually a product manager by profession. And so I take a lot of screenshots. That's kind of my job. And so this makes it really fast for me to take informative, good screenshots. What do I mean? So I took this screenshot now and it's great. Let's say I want to add an arrow. I just press on A on my keyboard and I can quickly add an arrow, change the color from here, change the size, change the tip. Let's say I want to have a spotlight on a particular section of this screenshot. I can press the letter S and I can draw that spotlight so I can tell people what to focus on. Let's say I want to add a drop shadow. I press on K and I can add a drop shadow, and it doesn't have to be a shadow. It can be any color. It can be any background. So if you work in documentation, if you work in product, this is really important. And let's say, for example, that there is some sensitive information that I need to blur. For example, this download text. I can press on B, then just cover the download section there and it's blurred. It's really good. And then when I'm done, I can press Command S to save it to my Mac or Command C to copy it to my clipboard so that I can then paste it on Slack or Google Chat or whatever it is that I'm pasting it. So I think if you take a lot of screenshots, if you are a product manager, if you're someone who for any reason has to deal with screenshots, please do check out shottr.cc. The base version is free and it's enough for most cases. Now, I actually went ahead and I bought it just because it's so useful to me. I wanted to support the developer, but really the base version is more than enough. But it is a $12 license and it's forever. In my opinion, it's very, very much worth the cost. Okay, so the app that I want to talk about now actually has been running in the background this whole time on my screen, but you weren't able to see it because I hid it. Let me unhide it for now and let me show you what that app looks like. So I'll do that. And you can see it's a taskbar. So it's a Windows-like taskbar on macOS. I really missed the Windows taskbar. And so this app brings it back. This app is called Taskbar and it's new. It only came out a few months ago. And already I don't think I can live without it. So it's free for now. When the developer releases version 2, then it will become paid. So it will be a $25 purchase after a free trial. But so far, I've been using it for almost a year, I think, and it's always been free. So do check it out. Now, what does it do? So it's essentially like a Windows taskbar with all of your open windows right here, and it shows on your monitor constantly. So it's always there. You can very easily hide it. So you can just hover over it and use your mouse wheel to hide it whenever you don't need it, but you can bring it up and it just lets you switch between your open windows really fast. And it's better than the dock, in my opinion. Now, why is it better than the dock? For me, there are a few reasons. Now, reason number one is this actually takes up less space than the dock. So vertically speaking, already I'm using a landscape monitor, so my vertical space is really important, is really valuable. And this only takes up maybe like 50 pixels or something. Yeah, so space is reason number one. Reason number two is the fact that, again, the dock is not for Windows, it's for apps. So you only really see your app icons. You do see a few windows here in the minimized section, but other than that, it doesn't really give you a comprehensive overview of all of the windows that you have open on your Mac, which for me is really important. But Taskbar does do that. And so you see all of your windows here. Now you can actually hover over each window here and get a preview for what that window looks like. That's really useful when you have a ton of open windows and you can't recognize which one is which. Even just having this little preview is really useful. And the main advantage for me is that when I have a lot of windows open, it just lets me switch between them really fast without even having to open AltTab. So for example, now if I wanted to switch back to my Obsidian window, for example, which I have open here, all I have to do is click here and my Obsidian window will come open. So it's a really quick way to switch between your open apps. It does bring a Windows feel in a way to the Mac, but I think that is a good thing. And it is a superior way to switch between open windows than the dock, in my personal opinion. I think you should give it a try. So in my opinion, do give it a week or two. Download it, try it. It's free again. Give it a few weeks, see if you like it, and then you decide whether you want to continue with the dock or with the taskbar. In my opinion, right now, taskbar is winning that battle. And the last utility I want to show you today is called Keka. It's free. Again, it's a GitHub page, so I'll send you the GitHub link. It's going to be there in the description. And it's a compressor and uncompressor. So it's a file archiver. And this is what it looks like. So it's a fairly simple window. And the way that it works is you drag and drop some files onto it, and it will archive them into a zip file, a 7-zip file, or whatever format you want, with whatever settings you want. And it will do the opposite as well. So if you drag and drop a zip file or any other type of archive on top of Keka, it will uncompress that archive based on the settings that you've chosen. Now you might be saying, hey, doesn't the Mac already have an archive utility called archive utility to let you compress and uncompress files? Yes, it does have it, and it's quite good again, but I think Keka is superior. I just like it better because it gives you a lot more settings and a lot more options. Now, in the default macOS archive utility, you can only zip files in the zip format and with a certain compression ratio. Here on Keka, though, you can pick between many different types of file formats, archive formats, and you can choose how much you want to compress them. And so it just gives you that many more options for archiving and unarchiving. And if you open the settings, you'll see there is just so much here to choose from. It's a very customizable app. And in my opinion, it's a one-to-one replacement for the macOS archive utility. So do check it out. Again, it's free. So you can go to keka.io. This is the official website. And on the website, they will redirect you to the Mac App Store version, which costs something like $6 or $7. So if you want to support the developers, you can download that one, or you can click here to download it for free. It's the exact same option, just they give you an option to support the developers, basically, if you so wish. So that's it for the video today. I hope that these 5 utilities will be useful to you. Now, I actually do use these utilities every day. So I can vouch for these. I like them. I think they will be extremely useful to you. And once you learn how to use them, especially the more complex ones, maybe like Alfred, I think you'll get a lot out of them in return. I know that some of these utilities that I talked about today are paid, but I do think that the longer you use them, the more you get out of them. And for example, the Alfred license or the Shottr license, I think those are investments. So that money definitely came back to me over and over and over again as I use these utilities for my work and for my life. So these are very much battle-tested applications. I really use them personally, and I hope that they can be useful for you as well. So thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.